A good practice in server security is to avoid using the super user account as much as possible. In this video I will cover the use of the sudo command and highlight its importance in security. In my point of view, one of the biggest security flaws is the indiscriminate use of the super user account, and this was the main flaw in Microsoft Windows XP. Sudo will help us reduce our time as a super user, and this is its main functionality. Log into Linux with a regular user, that is, do not log in as a super user. If this server is exposed to the internet, I even recommend removing the super user's password. Remember that when typing the user's password, no characters will be exposed. After all, the number of characters can expose your password. Execute the su command. This command replaces the current user's session by opening another session for another user. In this case, we will enter the root user account. Without the sudo command, using the su command would be routine and time-consuming, which would lead administrators to spend more time as root. This is one of the few seconds that we will access the root account. In the super user session, we can install the sudo command. Not every Linux distribution has sudo installed, and as with many, in Debian we will have to install it. To install it is simple. With the apt command install the sudo package, as demonstrated in the video. The process is quick. After all, the sudo command is a small script and a configuration file. After installing, we have to access the configuration file. To do this with nano edit the file, barra etc. barra sudoers. We have two ways of configuring who can access permission. In this class we will demonstrate the most basic one. Use the down key to navigate to the end of the file. The most basic thing is to just define in this file which users have access and what level of access. As this is your first contact with Linux, let's make a simple and very permissive configuration. In the Linux users chapter, we will restrict these permissions. Note that there are 4 references to the word all. The first reference indicates that it is from any computer. The second reference indicates that the user, usuario, can impersonate any other user. The third reference indicates that the user will be able to access any group, and lastly, he will be able to execute any command. In short, the user, usuario, will be able to access any account and execute any command from any computer. Just add the line. This will ensure that the user has access to the permissions. Save the file. Enjoy and close the file with Ctrl followed by the X key. Close the session. After all, we don't want to set a bad example. Use the exit command for this. Now the user has permission to use the sudo command. Whenever a practice requires permission, do not log into the root account. Do the right thing, which is to use the sudo command.